Good afternoon everyone, we are the Group 6 and today's video we're going to discuss the curriculum innovation. But before that, let me introduce to you the reporters. First, Erica Saligumba, yours truly, Ralph Orosabia, Chin Arisgado, Pia Jereza, David Patalinghog, Nermbay Maulana, Christian Castro, and lastly, Yana Amore. In this chapter, the student should be able to define curriculum innovation, analyze the different types of curriculum innovations, and appreciate the positive contribution of curriculum innovation in the education system. What is curriculum innovation? From the word innovation, it is a new set of ideas that could help in developing, implementing the effectiveness of the curriculum that the student should adopt or need to learn. In curriculum innovation, it includes new knowledge of theories, outstanding curricular practices design that are being developed, or research and educations of other studies from other discipline and academic fields. It is also associated with curriculum change, but of course, in changing curriculum, it takes a long-term process by experimenting and researching to ensure that the changes of a particular curriculum is effective and useful. It also depends on students' needs and the materials that is available in a school. Also, we have 4 core changes in schools. First, some forms of regrouping or new grouping, which is structure. Second, new curriculum materials. Third, changes in some aspect of teaching practices like new activities, skills, behavior, and lastly, a change in belief or understanding vis-a-vis curriculum and learning. In curriculum innovation, we have the standard-based curriculum. When we say standard-based curriculum, it is a body of content knowledge that the student is expected to learn, which is determined by the learning standard they are expected to meet. It offers the school opportunity to improve curriculum quality by making sure that the teacher teach the important content and eliminate learning gap that may exist between sequential course and grade levels. According to Glathorn et al. 1998, standard-based curriculum is designed based on content standard as explicated by expert in the field. So, teaching methodologies is encourage teachers to reflect and revise their lesson planning. So, in revising their lesson plan, they have to ensure that the content that they are acquiring is from the expert. Like, dili sila basta-basta magbuhat-buhat og sarili nila nga lesson plan. They have to follow the guidelines and outlines. So the focus of the standard-based curriculum is to ensure that the students are acquiring the knowledge and skills that are deemed to be essential to success in school. So as you observe, every year iba-iba ang teaching strategies sa isa ka teacher o iba-iba ang lesson plan na gina-present depende sa level ug needs sa students. Next perspective is the skills. So obviously, it is the capacity and strategies that enable the learners apply knowledge to novel situation engaged in higher order like thinking, problem solving, collaborative, and communication effectively. So in skills, it involves on how to apply the knowledge using our skills and capacity. Kumbaga, di lang kay na-understand na nimo ang concept sa isa ka subject, but also allowing your student to perform themselves and developing their skills. Kung naabot yun sila natun-an, kung hantod, nakasabot lang ba sila? Kung nakasabot sila, paano ba nila ni-perform? So, unsa ba ang mga learning na makuha pa para ma-improve ang skills sa bata? Unsa ba ang mga need na baguhon? Unsa ba ang way para makita nila ang ilang skills? So, this is the aspect of skill standards. Standard-based curriculum include 3 different aspects: the knowledge, skill standard, and disposition. The knowledge or the content standard, these are the themes or conceptual strands that should be nurtured throughout the student's education. When we say knowledge and conceptual standard, it includes the fact, theories, principles that are taught and learned in specific academic courses. Like sa senior high school, high level na ang learnings na ginahatag compared sa junior high school. Like sa senior high school, nanay communication art, ICT or which is information communication technology. Kumbaga, dili basic ang learnings na itundo sa senior high school, nagataas ang level o dili para sa junior. So It is a practical understanding of someone or something, like having a broad perspective and skills. Lastly is the disposition. So, it is the behavior, values, and attitude that the students acquire in nurturing their full potential. So, dali makita ang mga learnings na involve ang values, like involved na diri ang ideology, personal perspective, norms, cultures, like unsa ba dapat ang mga learning na makahatag og disiplina sa bata, unsa ba ang mga actions na tama, ma-consider na tama ug mali, paano magpakita og respeto. So those are the learning standards in this position. According to Vantasil Basca 2008, there are varieties of benefits of using curriculum standard innovation. The first benefit is to ensure that the students learn what they need to know for high-level functioning in the 21st century. So, kinsa man ni ang mga learners sa 21st century? Of course, bilong ta diriya. When we say 21st century learners, we are more focused on authenticity in the learning environment, incorporating a variety of skills, including critical thinking, problem solving, and collaborative work. Example of this is the K-12 curriculum. Sa una wala na dati, pero karon naa na kay para ang mga student pag abot sa college well prepared and knowledgeable na, like they are already equipped not just in gaining knowledge but also to showcase their talents, skills, and capacity. This benefit is to ensure that the students are really learning, progressing, and meeting the standard toward their skills and the knowledge needed for the 21st century. The second benefit is to ensure educational quality across school district and education institutions. So, with the use of standard-based curriculum, it ensures that all students as well as the teachers experiencing effective and quality educations, like klaro ang learnings na madawat sa student, kay kompleto ang equipments, mga gamit para sa klase, na ang learning na ilang makuha is di lang masayang or malimtan dayon. Kumbaga, naka-remain ang knowledge sa ilaha tungod kay natagaan sila og quality of education. Another benefit of standard-based curriculum is to provide educators with guideposts to mark the way to providing students with meaningful outcomes to work on. Meaning, it provides enough scope of instructions as well as materials to be taught, materials to be used during discussion, and activities to achieve the goal of each standard. It serves guide to educator to implement instructions and to be organized when teaching his or her students. Lastly, provide a curriculum template within which teachers and candidates are able to focus on instructional delivery technique that work. When we say curriculum template, it is the learning objectives that is expected to achieve.
Multicultural curriculum. A multicultural curriculum aims to promote cultural literacy and cultural understanding through cultural awareness activities by knowing the different costumes, songs, literature, foods, and introducing different historical places of different countries as part of daily lesson. So, multicultural curriculum is a form of education or teaching of other cultures' history, beliefs, values, and etc. Banks 1994 identified 5 dimensions that schools could adopt when trying to implement multicultural curriculum. These dimensions are very useful in developing cultural literacy and in promoting cultural understanding in schools. The first dimension is content integration. Integration allows for the transfer of learning and skills from one area to another. An integrated approach to instruction allows teachers to use their allotted instructional time more effectively. The second dimension is the knowledge construction process. The knowledge construction process describes how teachers help students to understand, investigate, and determine how the biases, frames of reference, and perspectives within a discipline influence the ways in which knowledge is constructed within it. The third dimension is prejudice reduction. Prejudice reduction describes lessons and activities used by teachers to help students to develop positive attitudes toward different racial, ethnic, and cultural groups. The fourth dimension is equity pedagogy. Equity pedagogy exists when teachers modify their teachings in ways that will facilitate the academic achievement of students from diverse racial, cultural, and social class groups. And the last dimension is an empowering school culture and social structure. An empowering school culture and social structure is created when the culture and organization of the school are transformed in ways that enable students from diverse racial, ethnic, and gender groups to experience equality and equal status. There are many ways in which multicultural curriculum can be developed and implemented. Bennett 1999 proposed a multicultural curriculum focusing on 6 goals. The first goal is to develop multiple historical perspectives or to learn others' cultures, beliefs, and etc. The second goal is to strengthen cultural consciousness or the process of developing awareness of culture in the self, which can result in expanding understanding of culture and developing deeper cultural knowledge about other individuals and contexts. The third goal is to strengthen intercultural competence. It's an understanding of other people's behaviors, cultural customs, and ways of thinking regardless of how unusual or strange they may appear. The fourth goal is combat racism, sexism, and other forms of prejudice and discriminations. The fifth goal is to increase awareness of the state of the planet and global dynamics. The idea behind global awareness is to create global citizens who are open to those raised in different countries, cultures, and religious settings. The last goal is to build social action skills. Social action projects involve students directly in identifying, planning, and implementing the action. Students develop important skills including problem solving, conflict resolution, and empathy.
Indigenous curriculum. The idea of indigenous curriculum was a product of a vision to make curriculum relevant and responsive to the needs and context of indigenous people. It links the curriculum with the society, culture, and history. We always remember, once we hear indigenous curriculum, it is everything that connects to the culture, to the history, and to the people na nakakatulong na ma-develop ang curriculum using the education as the platform for indigenous development. So, paano natin makonekta ang knowledge sa curriculum? So, here are the framework for the development of an indigenous curriculum. First, construct knowledge. It's help easily understand about experiences and personal views. Dapat alam natin kung paano at ano na kaalaman na i-impart natin sa students. Knowing the experiences and personal views means understanding the concept of knowledge. Number 2, use instructional strategies. It is promoting academic success for children with different culture. Instructional strategies are very effective kapag meron tayong mga pasabog sa activities natin by using the indigenous content as instructions. It will surely give a blast at matatandaan ito ng mga students. Number 3, integrate contents and activities. This is necessary to understand learners' culture and background aspects. Always remember, use the first-hand or second-hand experiences in teaching the students and applying to our activities. Ang mga experiences ay nagsisilbing tools para mas makarelate ang mga students. Number 4, utilize communities' cultural, material, and human resources. This is vital to be the basis for the development of curriculum. If I am to explain, this is also means localization. In our materials and content, we should localize it, try to at least promote our community's culture and human resources for our students to easily connect to our topic. For example, we use cultural products like baskets, Filipino instruments, native dress, dialects, and so on and so forth. So these are the 4 framework for the development of an indigenous curriculum. Indigenous curriculum may consider using and implementing the following strategies at the school level. Number 1, integrating contents and activities that reflects the learner's culture, history, tradition, and indigenous knowledge in the curriculum. Always relate our culture, history, and indigenous knowledge because it will help all of us to understand easily. Number 2, using the local language as the medium of instruction for several subjects. So, local language, for example, the subject in elementary which is the mother tongue. It will help promote to our language and also we can easily understand the context. Number 3, involving community folks and local teachers in the development of the curriculum. Stakeholders of the school are vital. They are the one that make the school a good place to learn. Number 4, developing local instructional materials and learning outside the classroom. So, signages, posters, and bulletin boards can be used for these instructional materials. Number 5, using instructional strategies that are relevant to indigenous learning systems. So, we should be extra sensitive in our instructional strategies and also extra effort. Always relate our instructions to our learning system so that the student will not get confused. As a summary, we should plan first before we teach. For us to connect to our student and for us to apply this what we call indigenous knowledge, then always stick to our indigenous learning system. We must always apply it to our curriculum because in this way, students would feel that they are really connected to the teaching and learning process.
We are now in the deep part of the curriculum innovation, which is the brain-based education. By the way, I am Ralph Michael Orsabia, and I will be discussing it to you. Prominent advocates in a brain-based education, according by Celine and Cain in 1997, considered curriculum and instruction from brain-based approach. They begin with brain-mind learning principles derived from brain research findings. So, the brain-based learning, it refers to the teaching methods, lesson design, and school programs that are based on the latest research about on how the brain learns, including such as factors as cognitive development. On students learn differently as they grow and mature socially, emotionally, and cognitively. So here are the principles in the classroom and in designing a curriculum. So first, we have the brain as a whole system and includes physiology, emotions, imagination, and predisposition. So we all know that brain is the one who commands and controls our body, as well as it generates ideas and can feel emotions to react. It allows students to think critically also and learn effectively in a class. Second, the brain develops in relationship to interaction with the environment and with others. Our brain was developing in terms of what's in our environment and interaction with other people. So the more we socialize, the more we build relationship and gain learnings and experiences that develops our brain from the interaction with other people. In fact, we can learn with other people in terms of adapting and based on what we observe with their practices. So the third one is a quality of being a human is the search for personal meaning. It is nature for a human to inquire or research information that he needs to know. This principle tells us on how important searching for personal meaning in order for us to really define or understand. So, for example, is ang student ay may gustong malaman tungkol sa kanyang pinag-aaralan. So, out of curiosity, the learner is trying to inquire people's idea, pwede nanggaling sa teacher and search for it for the other information so that the student learn to cope up information by searching. Number 4, people create meaning through perceiving certain patterns of understanding. So, people is perceive understanding that refers on how our brain thinks. Like, people can generate information in a different situation that what he thinks is the best way or the best solution for solving this kind of problem. The fifth one, emotions are critical to the patterns people receive. Sometimes our emotions affects our thoughts, like minsan pag ang isang tao is galit, it's easy for her or him to speak bad words. It's because emotions can really affects on how we think and deliver on what we are going to say. So basically, our emotions are critical in terms of our thoughts and to express our ideas. Number 6, the brain processes information into both parts and wholes at the same time. Our brain is processing information into two parts, which is the central nervous system and what we call the peripheral nervous system. So these two parts has a important role in our brain, and also it has an ability to process the information that we need. Next, learning includes both focused attention and peripheral input. So, learning needs focus and attention. It's because in order to learn, we need to focus to a topic or a certain discussion where we practice to listen with proper understanding as well as absorbing the ideas and information from other people. As an example, where inside the class, learners need to listen and give attention to the teacher so that the lesson was discussed, surely absorbed by the students, and they learn the information they need after the session. Number 8, learning is both unconscious and conscious. So, we learn much more than we ever consciously understand. Most of the signals that are peripherally perceived enter the brain without our awareness and interact on unconscious levels. So, this is why we say that learners become their experience and remember what they experience, not just what they are told. Number 9, information is organized differently in memory. So, we all know that memory is an information processing system that we are often compare to a computer. So, memory is a set of processes used to encode, store, and retrieve information over different periods of time. So, what I've mentioned earlier, the encoding, storage, and retrieval, these are the part of processing system of our memory, which encoding involves the input of information into the memory system, and storage is the retention of the encoded information, and while retrieval or getting the information out of memory and back into awareness is the third function. Number 10, learning is developmental. So it is right that learning is developmental or developing, which it is broadening and deepening of knowledge in line with one's development goals. Especially learning is concerned with the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. 11th principle, the brain makes an optimal number of connections in a supportive but challenging environment. However, when there are perceptions of a threat, the brain may inhibit learning. Therefore, if the brain affected by a challenging environment, it provides an optimal number of connection to support the perception of the threat. The more the student perceive the information that comes from the environment, the brain may inhibit learning. So the last one principle, every brain is unique in its organization. Every person is unique and comes with a personal set of developmental needs and requests to meet those needs. So every person is born to a unique set of circumstances, time, place, family, natural affinities, instinct motivations, attraction to objects, activities, and people in our environments.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gifted Education Curriculum. Gifted Education Curriculum is designed to respond to the needs of a growing number of gifted to develop gifted potentials. There are several examples of gifted curriculum models presented as follows. So we have here the five gifted curriculum models. So the first is the school enrichment models. The SAM provide enriched learning experiences and higher learning standards for all the children through three goals. So the three goals are the following. The first is developing talents in all children. So the SAM or the school enrichment model, they are develop the talents of the children, all the students. They also provide a broad range of advanced level enrichment experiences for all students. And the third is providing advanced follow-up opportunities for young people based on their strength and interest. So they also provide the opportunities for the young people base sa kanilang strength at saka interest. So the second model is the parallel curriculum models. The parallel curriculum models or PCM evolved from a National Association for Gifted Children curriculum in 1988. So here in the parallel curriculum model, it promotes a curriculum models for developing the abilities of students who perform at advanced level. So we have here the four curriculum parallel models. So the first is the core curriculum that focuses on the nature of knowledge that is embedded in the discipline. This includes the core concepts, skills, and values that are unique for each discipline. So here in curriculum or the core curriculum, this is where the teachers addresses the core concepts, principles, and skills necessary. This is where the students learn essentials understanding pertaining to a particular topic, subject, discipline, or etc. Second is the curriculum of connection, focuses on the integration or interconnectedness of knowledge across different disciplines. So, sa curriculum of connection, this is the part of this plan which helps teachers and students connect overarching concepts, principles, and skills. The third curriculum is the curriculum of the practice. It involves the application of knowledge of different real-life situation and the methodology of practitioner. So in the curriculum of practice, this is the piece in which the students have the opportunity to practice what they have learned. And the last curriculum is the curriculum of the identity. The curriculum of identity fits the learner's values and the goals and those that characterize practicing professionals. So here in the curriculum of identity, the PCM, or in this piece of the parallel curriculum model, students have the opportunity to reflect upon the relationship between skills and ideas in a discipline and their own lives, personal growth, and development. So this element is very important to the development of gifted students, as it affords them to the opportunity to explore and participate in a field of study as it relates to their own interests. So let's proceed to the third models. The third models is the autonomous learner models. So autonomous learner models is divided into 5 major dimensions. So the first is the orientation acquires students, teachers, and administrators with the central concept in gifted education and the specific of these models. So in the orientation, it encourages the students to reflect on what intelligence is, how their school is helping them to use their intelligence through various programs and teaching methods, and how they can play an important role in guiding their future. The second is individual development focuses more clearly in developing skills, concepts, and attitudes that promote lifelong learning, self-direct learning. So, in individual, during this stage, the students gain the tools they need to be independent learner. The third is the enrichment activities involve 2 kinds of differentiation of curriculum, namely differentiation of curriculum by the teachers and differentiation by the students. Students are exposed to various activities to develop their passion for learning. So here in enrichment, enrichment can take on many different forms, whether the students will be exploring new ideas, investigating, taking part in the students will be pursuing knowledge based in real-world experiences. Seminars are designed to give each person in a small group opportunity to research a topic and present in a similar format to other people or to a group. So here in autonomous learner model, seminars are not taught by professional or teachers. Instead, students create and oversee seminars that demonstrate the knowledge and ideas they have acquired during the autonomous learning models process. And the last is in-depth study, is one in which students pursue areas of interest in a long-term individual or small group of studies. So in-depth study, this can take the form of an individual or group project, a mentorship, a presentation, or an assessment. This is considered the highest level of autonomous learning. Let's proceed to the 4th model, which is the integrated curriculum models. So the integrated curriculum models is an approach to a teaching gifted students in a way that is sensitive to their needs. This model places on emphasis on advanced content knowledge, relies on higher or order thinking skills, and focuses learning on major issues that across several disciplines. So the model presented 3 dimensions. So the first is the advanced content dimension, meets the needs of gifted students for acceleration by providing content earlier and faster that same age peers would normally receive it. So in advanced content, it provides opportunities for students to use advanced skills and move through the curriculum in a more rapid pace or differ. The second is the process product dimension, incorporated direct instruction and embedded activities that promote higher order thinking skills and create opportunities for independent pursuit in area of student interest. So in the process product dimension, the integrated curriculum model allows students to explore a topic and conduct research relevant to their topic or engage in a problem based on their learning experiences. And the last is the issues themes dimension, is where learning experiences are organized. In doing so, students are able to develop deeper ideas and philosophies that ultimately ultimately promote understanding of the structure of knowledge learned. So here in issues James dimension, the students here is able to develop ideas and philosophies that promote understanding of the structure of knowledge learned. The last model is the Kids Academia models. The Kids Academia models is a program for young Japanese children, children that ages 5 to 8 years old. So the Kids Academia models identified the three major phases that are followed in the development of the curriculum. So the first is the group meeting and brainstorming activities. The teacher and the teaching assistants hold several meetings and brainstorming activities to decide on the themes that will be included in the program. So here in the group meeting and brainstorming activities, the teachers here and the teaching assistants is nag-hold sila ng meetings and brainstorming activities so that maka-decide sila ng themes na kanilang isasali to their program. The second is the selection of contents of each theme. The teachers and teaching assistant carefully selects the lessons and topic that are included in the theme. So ang teachers and the teachers assistants here is nag-select sila ng lesson and topic na masasali nila for the theme that they will going to use. The last is designing lesson. This phase includes the careful preparation of lesson plans and other instructional materials needed for implementing each lesson. So here naman in the designing lesson, the teachers is they carefully prepare the lesson plans and instructional materials na kanilang kailangan for the implementation of their lesson plan.
Differentiate curriculum, a philosophy that enables teachers to plan strategically in order to reach the needs of the diverse learners in classroom today. It considers the unique characteristics, learning styles, thinking preferences, intelligence, need, cultural backgrounds, interest, gender, and other unique characteristics of the learners. Steps in planning differentiated learning. First, set standards. Second, define content. Third, activate prior knowledge. Fourth, acquire new knowledge. Fifth, apply and adjust the learning. Sixth, assess learning. Set some standards. Set some core standards, or what should students know and be able to do. Second, define content. Find some content with concepts, vocabulary, and facts. Activate prior knowledge. Give the students some focus activity like pre-assessment activity like quiz test, survey, brainstorming to activate their prior knowledge and engaging the learners. Acquire new knowledge by giving the students lecturate, presentation, demonstration, and other activity that can give them some new knowledge. Apply and adjust learning. The teacher can give some activities where the students can apply and adjust their learning through group tasks and discussion. Assess learning. The teacher can give the students a summative or final assessment like quiz, test, performance task, or products, and etc.
Technology integration in the curriculum offers multiple opportunities to improve teaching and in the total education system. It is creating new space, meaningful learning. So we have distance education. Distance learning is also called distance education, e-learning and online learning form of education in which the main elements include physical separation of teachers and students during instructions and the use of various technologies to facilitate student-teacher and student-student communication. So dito may distinction between sa teacher and students in order for them to be flexible since we are experiencing pandemic. We need to adapt with the changes na na-experience natin, and teachers and students ay may choice kung saan, kailan at paano sila matuto even hindi physically but in the means of video conference or Google Meet and other forms na kung saan ay comfortable sila. The next is computer-assisted instructions. Well, in computer-assisted instructions, this computer program helps to improve the presentation of instructions from teacher. It is so useful kasi mas na-enhance or na-improve ng computer-assisted instructions ang instructions ng teacher. It helps to the students in breaking down wide topics or mahirap intindihin na mga topics into small and more understandable one. It really improves students' learning kasi meron din itong mga features like animation, sounds, and demonstrations which magiging engage yung mga students because of the entertaining then that is giving. Then number 3 is the online learning. The online learning allows students to pursue education wherever they are. It does not tie them down to a specific location. Students need to ensure that they have a reliable computer and internet connection. These are the bare necessities of taking online classes. So, dito sa online class, it provides us opportunity para makontinue natin ang studies natin despite of the cases that we are facing. It molded us to become flexible since the lesson and class discussion is in the form of online. Unlike before na we will need to go to school to learn. Na nade-develop rin ang time management skills ng mga students since they have some tasks to do home na kailangan i-balance sa study. So, less expenses na rin kasi home-based learning, and lastly, nag-i-improve ang skills and capacities ng student in terms sa paggamit ng modern technologies. So indeed, it is helpful in providing quality and meaningful education in this time of pandemic. So the next is teleconferencing. Teleconferencing is a real-time and live interactive program in which one set of participants are at one more location. There are 3 common types of teleconference: are voice-only, video conference, and web-based conference. So this is one way of inviting people which includes multiple participants. So the best example is the Google Meet because this is very timely nowadays as pandemic happened. Everything is based on technology. So number 3 is online libraries. Commonly, we are encountering actual libraries. I mean, yung napupuntahan natin, nahawakan ang mga libro, mas maganda yun. But because nga sa pandemic, distance learning, we are starting to learn online. We are the modality of online learning, so we have also online libraries. Online libraries is just like a real library where you can gather information, ideas, article to those books. So this is the purpose too of online libraries, to give students a wide informations, complex ideas, but through online. It is not hard naman to search in an online library kasi nga most of us are engaged in the online world and actually mas convenient. Kasi isearch mo lang ang hinahanap mong topic or libro din ibibigay na sa'yo ng online world compared to a library. You will be the one to search for a book. Mahirapan ka pa at mapapagod unless the library is now very high-tech. All in, online library is very convenient, just like what I've said. These are example of online libraries that we can access. World Digital Library, LWU, and yung parang common sa atin which is the Bartleby. So the next is the webinars. So there are things na ginagawa to improve more yung mga pag-learn natin ng, of course, to make it meaning. Example, webinar. Webinar is just like a seminar but done through online. So through this, amidst a pandemic, we can still conduct seminars, online events, though it is not so interactive but still we can learn. Then lastly, online journalists and ebook. So online journals and ebooks, it is more accessible, diba, ngayon? Kasi most of the people using different gadgets. So through these online materials, it improve our self and our learning. So that's all. Thank you.
Now, let's talk about the outcomes-based education. When we say outcome-based education, it is also known as standard-based education. This is a theory that centered the outcomes or goals. So, the learnings that must be taught based on the student's needs. Like for example, in 21st century, most of the teacher preferred to have a learning strategy that uses more technology than from the previous traditional learning to ensure that the student can easily cope up to their strategy. It is the time that the OBE adjusts and create a new outcome to ensure that the students reach the goals and the standard. So it includes a range of skills and knowledge that should be concretely measurable. This is where the writing of our learning's objectives will come into play. Take note that the learning objective should be specific, measurable, and should be attainable by the students. There are two common approaches to an OBE curriculum according to SPADI 1994. The first approach is the traditional or transitional approach. In traditional, from the term itself, the instructors give more emphasis to classic teaching rather than the trend form of discussions. They believe that traditional approach in teaching serves better values based on their desired discussion. Second is transformational approach. This type of approach shows on how people perceive future instances. They tend to be predicted yet well-oriented to options that they could use in case of collateral. In 1994, SPADI identified four essential principles in OBE. The first one is the clarity of focus. That means that your objective should be clear. The objective is specific. In order for the educators to successfully rely their knowledge, they must be objective to what should they focus on. Being accurate means effective ways for students to learn and reach its potential. Second is designing back. So, student must have the awareness of what they're taking on their future careers. Third is the high expectations for all students. Expectations make the students to strive harder and in order for them to achieve their satisfactions. Putting expectation to someone's life may be a burden, but it may also serve as their striving key to success. In setting expectation, it should have a criteria references. Fourth one is the expanded opportunities for all learners. Lifetime opportunities give great impact to students, allowing them to reach their full potentials via opportunities given makes them more productive and an efficient member of the institutions. Let your learners explore their capabilities and support them at all costs. Three major phases involved in planning for OBE at the program level. In phase 1, it refers to the starting point or the introductions of the institutions. These serve as the basis on how they run the process, which gives them the opportunity to create and advance matters. For example, once an institution was established, members must identify the factors and the possible needs of its scope. It's important to conduct an analysis for them to identify the needs. The second phase is the identifications of the specific skills, knowledge, materials, and the ideologies needed for the development of the program phase. Each curriculum promotes competencies to its learners. The second phase emphasizes the preparations of its students as they going to continue developing. The programs serve as the guide of establishment. In the third phase, after the identification, this phase is the development stage of the acquired knowledge, skills, and many more. This reflects to the performance of the institutions as they introduce different fields of study. The final phase refers to as well-established institution. In this phase, the need and the course are already provided and is ready to produce learners for future endeavors. The offered courses could reflect their performance based on how productive they are and how do they maintain the satisfactions of the curriculum.
Transition curriculum. Transition curriculum, it is designed for special learners that are intellectually disabled and those that are physically handicapped. It is designed to meet their special needs and respond to their specific interests. So the transition curriculum is designed to the people with special needs, which is nag-aaral sila sa SPED or special education.
Special education is a form of instruction that's designed to meet the needs of students with disabilities so that they can learn the same skills and information as other children in school. Transition curriculum is like a care package nga naga-empower sa learners to transform from home to school, from post-elementary or post-secondary to the world of work. Also, in the transition curriculum education, the learners will learn to become functional in their everyday lives. In 2007, Kiana presented the Philippine Model of Transition. The Philippine Model of Transition that focuses every learners to have the opportunity for community involvement and also employment. So the transition program includes 3 domains. We have daily living skills, personal and social skills, and occupational guidance and preparation. In the daily living skills includes the competencies on managing, selecting, and maintaining living environment. And for the competencies of personal and social skills, focus on achieving self-awareness, acquire self-confidence, achieving social responsible behavior. And for the occupational guidance preparation, it covers the competencies like exploring and locating occupational training and jobs. The transition program in the Philippines could be expanded to many different possible points of entry. These may include the following examples. First is the transition to school life. Children and adult special learners na mga gustong sumali or na-assess na to be ready for regular school under sa inclusion program. Kasali din dito ang mga students na gustong matuto ng Learn Basic Literacy program under sa Alternative Learning System or ALS. Second is the transition after post-secondary schooling. Ito yung programs na mag-prepare sa mga special learners for the vocational courses like TESDA. Third is transition for school to entrepreneurship. Ito yung mga programs na mag-allow sa mga special learners na maging entrepreneurs sa kanilang community. And the fourth is transition from school to adult life. Ito yung programs na mag-a-allow sa mga special learners to prepare and mag-adjust or mag-adapt sa life or for being an adult. And the fifth is transition to functional life. Ito yung pagkatuto ng mga life skills ng mga special learners para alam nila kung paano alagaan ang sarili nila at para ma-develop ang mga special skills na maaari nilang magamit sa pang-araw-araw nilang buhay. Reflection on curriculum innovation. Educators and curriculum makers are always encouraged to innovate in the curriculum. So, innovating the curriculum has a lot of advantage. As time progresses, the ways of the past cannot solve the problems of the present. So, dili na to ma-solve ang problem sa present kung gaano japon ta sa past nato nga ano. As such, to accomplish anything differently, you must develop a method, a process, a product, or a strategy. Furthermore, antiquated ideas about how to construct a school contribute to public education's bad performance. Education innovation encourage teachers and students to investigate, research, and employ all available tools in order to discover something new. The thought process involved will aid students in developing their creativity and problem-solving abilities. Curriculum innovations are essential changes in the curriculum that have positive results for the school and for students. The more ga-improve ang curriculum, dapat the more said ang mga best results, particularly those who help the students as well as the school. In proposing curriculum innovations, the curriculum worker should study the nature of their innovation in relation to the social context of the learners and the school. So sa pag-propose sa curriculum innovation, the curriculum workers should study ang nature sa innovation na related sa social context sa mga learners and also sa school. Curriculum innovations could be a new ideas, theories, new subject or courses, educational tools, new curriculum design, a curriculum product, or a new process. So, from the word innovation is gina-innovate nato ang isa ka curriculum. So, it means it could be a new ideas jud siya or theories na maka-change or maka-improve sa curriculum to have a better curriculum. And many curriculum innovations that were introduced in the country are solutions to the different problems and issues in the Philippine education. They are also aimed to make curriculum relevant and responsive to every Filipino learner. So some of the curriculum innovations na na-introduce daw sa atong country is one of the solution nga sa mga problems o issue na ginakaharap sa atong mga curriculum workers or sa Philippine education. Curriculum innovation could be introduced in any level of education from national level. So, ang curriculum innovation daw could be introduced sa any level of education as well as national level. Teachers and administrators play an important role in introducing and implementing curriculum innovations. So, teachers and administrators plays an important role in this because, as we all know, they are people responsible on the introduction and implementation process. Using their knowledge and experiences, the teacher are main characters and key in the success of curriculum innovations. The success of any curriculum innovation is based on the support of the stakeholders and the government. So, magiging successful lang ang isang curriculum innovation kung may sapat itong suporta sa mga stakeholders o gobyerno, sapagkat kung walang suporta galing sa kanila ay magiging mahirap ito or mahirap itong i-implement or mahirap mag-innovate na isang curriculum kung walang tulong or support sa mga stakeholders at government, like sa funding sa pag-innovate sa curriculum. And curriculum innovation at the local school level are encouraged. So, curriculum innovation is need po siya ma-encourage sa mga local school para ma-change pod o ma-innovate pod ang mga curriculum sa mga local schools.